Factsverse presents 15 Deadliest Plants in the World. Number 1. Castor Oil Plant. The castor oil plant is by far the deadliest plant because its seeds contain an extremely toxic compound called ricin. This is in addition to RCA, Ricinus communis agglutinin, which causes agglutination of red blood cells and subsequently hemolysis. According to Cornell University's College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, 1 milligram of ricin is enough to kill an adult. The symptoms of ricin poisoning start to develop 4 to 10 hours after ingesting the poison and include vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and heartburn. After a few days, extreme body fluid loss leads to electrolyte imbalances, decrease in blood pressure, circulatory collapse, severe dehydration, and eventually death. Victims who do not die within 3 to 5 days are likely to stabilize and recover. Of course, children are more sensitive to ricin poisoning than adults. Number 2. Abrus precatorius. Abrus precatorius is also known as the crab's eye creeper, Jamaica wild licorice, rosary pea, John Crow bead, and coral bead, among other names. Its seeds contain a highly toxic compound called abrin, but a hard outer coat makes it difficult for the deadly toxin to escape. A scientific paper published in the Western Journal of Emergency Medicine states that the chemical structure of abrin is similar to diphtheria, cholera, insulin, and botulinum. As such, it prevents protein synthesis, causing cells to die. Abrin poisoning symptoms include nausea, vomiting, severe dehydration, and diarrhea. Surprisingly, symptoms can delay for up to 3 days after ingesting the poison. Doctors use intravenous fluids and electrolyte correction strategies to treat abrin poisoning victims because there is no specific antidote for abrin poisoning. Number 3. Scotch broom. Scotch broom is a perennial leguminous shrub that is native to Central and Western Europe. Although it is not as toxic as castor oil plant or crab's eye creeper, it can cause serious health complications when ingested by humans. In particular, the leaves and seeds of this plant contain toxic compounds that can cause nausea, vomiting, breathing problems, high blood pressure, and in some cases, loss of consciousness. If you experience severe symptoms after ingesting Scotch broom, you should seek medical attention immediately and take a piece of the plant for proper identification. However, consuming small quantities of Scotch broom is unlikely to cause severe symptoms. Number 4. White snakeroot. White snakeroot is a 3-foot-tall herb that is native to North America. In terms of toxicity, this plant produces toxic compounds including desmethylenzolin, tremetone, and dihydrotremetone. According to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign's Veterinary Medicine Library, these compounds are so toxic that even drinking milk from a cow that has eaten white snakeroot can cause serious health problems. Furthermore, animals that feed on this plant may die depending on factors such as their overall health and amount of white snakeroot consumed. A publication from the University of Minnesota Extension states that toxicity in cattle occurs after ingesting white snakeroot equivalent to 5 to 10% of their body weight. The symptoms of white snakeroot poisoning include thirst, nausea, delirium, vomiting, and eventually death. To avoid poisoning, farmers or people who keep livestock in the U.S. are advised to fence off wooded areas, identify and destroy white snakeroot using suitable herbicides, and prevent cattle from wandering into woodlands where this plant thrives. Number 5. Foxglove. Foxglove is a biennial plant that is grown as an ornamental garden plant in the U.S. and Europe. However, this plant contains dangerous toxins including deslenoside, digitoxin, digoxin, and cardiac glycosides. According to the National Institutes of Health, poisoning usually occurs after eating foxglove seeds, sucking the flowers, or eating the leaves. Symptoms of foxglove poisoning include confusion, lethargy, loss of appetite, blurred vision, low blood pressure, and irregular heartbeat. Possible symptoms include stomach pain, drowsiness, depression, and hallucinations. Number 6. Angel's Trumpet. Angel's trumpet is a common garden plant that produces large amounts of toxic alkaloids, including scopolamine. A scientific paper published by the U.S. National Library of Medicine states that these alkaloids have potent hallucinogenic properties, with the seeds containing the highest concentration of these toxic compounds. In spite of its toxicity, some people, especially teenagers, use Angel's trumpet leaves, flowers, and seeds as hallucinogens. This is according to a scientific paper published in the journal Pediatrics and Child Health. Signs of Angel's trumpet poisoning include hallucinations, extreme agitation, thirst, blurred vision, confusion, restlessness, hypotension, and dry mouth. Number 7. Autumn crocus. Autumn crocus is an outdoor ornamental plant that is preferred by gardeners for its autumn flowers. Nevertheless, it produces poisonous compounds such as antimitotic and colchicine. In fact, humans and calves can be poisoned by drinking milk from lactating cattle that have already eaten this plant. Symptoms associated with autumn crocus poisoning include diarrhea, nausea, acute liver failure, arrhythmia, pancreatitis, vomiting, multi-organ dysfunction syndrome, and bone marrow suppression. Number 8. Strophanthus. Strophanthus is a flowering plant that is native to tropical and southern parts of Africa. It produces toxic alkaloids and cardiac glycosides that can cause death. According to the Journal of Anatomy, some communities in Africa use this plant to prepare poisoned arrow tips. Some of the adverse side effects associated with Strophanthus toxins include irregular heartbeat, nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, and headache. Surprisingly, Strophanthus toxins act on the heart first before influencing any other body organ. Number 9. Poison hemlock. True to its name, poison hemlock is an extremely poisonous plant found in Europe and the U.S. All parts of this plant, including the roots, contain toxic compounds such as conine and gconocine. A post published by the U.S. Department of Agriculture says poisoning mostly occurs when people confuse poison hemlock leaves with parsley, hemlock seeds with anise, and hemlock roots with wild parsnips. Poisoning symptoms include dilation of the pupils, salivation, nervous trembling, coordination problems, respiratory paralysis, weak pulse, coma, and death. Number 10. Water hemlock. According to the USDA's Agriculture Research Service, water hemlock is the most poisonous plant growing in North America. It produces a violent convulsant called cicutoxin that interferes with the functioning of the central nervous system. The symptoms of poisoning typically develop anywhere from 15 minutes to 6 hours after ingesting the poison, while death can occur 15 minutes to 2 hours after eating water hemlock. Signs of cicutoxin poisoning include fast heartbeat, tremors, nervousness, muscle twitching, dilation of the pupils, violent convulsions, and rapid breathing. Number 11. Deadly nightshade. Deadly nightshade is a member of the tomato family that is native to Europe, Western Asia, and North Africa. Its berries and leaves contain extremely toxic tropane alkaloids, including hyoscyamine, atropine, and scopolamine. Signs of deadly nightshade poisoning include hallucinations, lethargy, flushed skin, confusion, short-term memory loss, disorientation, agitated delirium, coma, seizures, and respiratory failure. Number 12. Oleander. Oleander is a small ornamental shrub or tree that is widely grown in many parts of the world. Although it is visually attractive, the flowers, leaves, and stems and branches contain dangerous toxins, including oleandrogen, nerin, digitoxygenin, and oleandrin. The symptoms of oleander poisoning include diarrhea, low blood pressure, stomach pain, irregular heartbeat, blurred vision, confusion, disorientation, dizziness, loss of appetite, fainting, headache, and skin hives. Number 13. Tobacco. Tobacco plants produce a bitter-tasting compound called nicotine that can cause poisoning after excessive ingestion, skin contact, or inhalation. In young children, accidental chewing of nicotine gum or patches causes acute nicotine poisoning, according to the U.S. National Library of Medicine. Poisoning signs include drooling, confusion, abdominal cramps, agitation, convulsions, restlessness, rapid breathing, nausea, vomiting, breathing difficulties, fast heartbeat, coma, headache, muscle twitching, and lethargy. A study published in the journal Pediatrics found that cases of nicotine poisoning involving children in the U.S. rose by a staggering 1,500% between 2013 and 2015. One fatality occurred during this period. Number 14. Manchineel. The manchineel tree is so toxic, the University of Florida IFAS extension warns that interaction with or ingestion of any of its parts could be fatal. Firstly, it produces a sap that can cause burns such as blisters on the skin. It also produces very potent toxins that can cause blistering of the mouth and throat, severe cardiovascular complications, temporary blindness, severe gastroenteritis, and death. In its native Caribbean, the manchineel fruit is known as the Little Apple of Death. Number 15. Rhododendrons. Rhododendrons produce harmful compounds called diterpene granulotoxins that can cause hypotension, dizziness, atrioventricular block, nausea, vomiting, impaired consciousness, blurred vision, sweating, and cardiac rhythm disorders according to an article published in the journal Cardiovascular Toxicology. Worryingly, there have been cases of people exhibiting these symptoms after eating honey contaminated with granulotoxins. Subscribe for more.